Hello and good evening. You're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. Any constitutional amendments affecting the issue of citizenship have to be cleared by the Conference of Rulers. In view of this, Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim said his administration will explain to the matter to MPs, some of whom have expressed disapproval over the bill.
Because this was presented to the Majlis Raja. There's a limit what we can do. After discussions, any constitutional amendment that affects the issue of citizenship has to be cleared with the Majlis Raja. So the Rulers Conference taken a certain position and we will have to therefore honour that. So I think we'll need to explain to the backbenchers.
The Prime Minister's comments came amid concerns of pushback from backbenchers when the bill is tabled in the Dewan Rakyat. The proposed amendments to Article 14(1)B will resolve the issue over citizenship of children born to Malaysian mothers overseas. However, there are 7 other proposed amendments which critics say would create a large pool of stateless children.
Targeted subsidies for petrol and diesel will likely be implemented after March 2024. According to Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli, the Cabinet will decide on the mechanism for implementation this month, with 3 approaches being considered.
Keputusan-keputusan khusus akan diumumkan mengikut garis masa yang ditetapkan kelak, namun pelaksanaan penyasaran semula subsidi ini dijangka hanya boleh dilaksanakan setelah tempoh pengesahan dan verifikasi maklumat isi rumah dan pendapatan di dalam padu selesai terlebih dahulu untuk memastikan kelayakan setiap isi rumah. Dan buat masa ini, padu dijangka akan dibuka kepada orang ramai bermula Januari 2024.
After PADU is launched in January 2024, the public will have 3 months to update and verify their data in the PADU system. Rafizi said determining eligibility for targeted subsidy will either be based on net disposable income for individuals through social protection schemes, a hybrid approach for households combining social protection and social aid, as well as subsidy cards for individuals and households.
The Ministry of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living listed 8 items to be placed under the festive season's maximum price control scheme for this year's Deepavali. Acting Minister Dato' Armizan Muhammad Ali said the maximum price scheme will be enforced for 7 days starting November 9th to November 15th.
They include imported big red onions and small red onions from India, with the exception of roast onions, red chilli and imported mutton with bone. Other items on the list are Australian dal, whole coconuts at wholesale level only, scraped coconut at retail level only, and tomatoes. Armezan said the public can check the prices for the items on KPDN's website. He urged the public to also directly report to any of the ministry's platforms if there are price discrepancies.
Trials of the multi-lane free-flow toll collection system will begin next year, according to Deputy Works Minister Dato' Sri Abdul Rahman Muhammad. He said the system will combine automatic number plate recognition and RFID technologies to allow vehicles to pass through toll plazas without barriers.
Ia akan lebih laju dan kita boleh detect nombor kereta dan juga sekali dengan pengguna tersebut. Jadi peningkatan ini mungkin boleh seperti saya nyatakan jawapan, dia lebih cepat dan efisien apabila kita menggunakan multi-lane fast flow.
In March, the government said that 3.46 billion ringgit has been allocated for the planned implementation of a multi-lane free-flow toll collection system, starting with a study on its use in 2024 before full implementation in 2025. The government will unveil the new road tax structure for electric vehicles by the end of this year to encourage more people to migrate to EVs. However, Transport Minister Anthony Loh said it will only take effect after 2 years, as the previous government had granted road tax exemptions for EVs until 2025. Loh said the matter had been presented to the EV task force to ensure that the new structure is more competitive and less burdensome for consumers. He said several factors were taken into account, including public concerns about high tax rates. The minister also stressed that concerted effort is needed from all parties to develop the EV industry in the country and encourage a full transition from conventional vehicles to EVs. Several Muslim nations have agreed to an emergency meeting of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation (OIC) on the Palestine issue. Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the timing of the meeting was still being discussed, as well as extending invitations to like-minded non-Muslim nations.
Kita telah menghubungi pemimpin dunia Arab dan Turki, malah Iran juga, untuk mengadakan perbincangan di kalangan kepala-kepala negara. Saya mulanya mengusulkan bahawa jangan hanya di kalangan pemimpin negara Islam, kerana Brazil, Ireland, Rusia, China itu punya pendekatan yang lebih lunak. Bolivia ya, dengan pendirian untuk mempertahankan hak kemanusiaan.
Anwar said it was important for nations to engage in discussions and reach a consensus on the selection of invited members. We will go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
PM mengumumkan yuran pendaftaran Universiti Awam dihadkan tak lebih daripada RM1,500.
Kes kemasukan ke hospital meningkat 2 kali ganda akibat jerebu.
Dan difahamkan sekurang-kurangnya 8 wartawan terbunuh dan 2 lagi hilang dalam serangan udara Israel ke atas Gaza.
Gelanggang sudah bersedia untuk pertembungan terbaik di Asia. AFC Champions League secara langsung di Astro Arena Bola, Astro Supersport dan aplikasi Astro Go.
Welcome back. On to updates in Gaza. Israel intensifies strikes in Gaza despite calls for a ceasefire and Palestinian death tolls nearing 10,000. This as Al-Shifa Hospital, the largest in Gaza, is hours away from shutting down since no fuel is allowed into the Gaza Strip. Israel has for weeks focused attention on Gaza's main hospital, Al-Shifa, accusing Hamas of using it as a shield for underground operational centers. Most recently, it struck an ambulance convoy in front of the hospital, killing 15 and wounding 60 others. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier has vowed that Israel will continue to bar the entry of fuel into the Gaza Strip and rejects any temporary ceasefire that doesn't include the release of all hostages. Meanwhile, the Israeli army has called on residents in northern Gaza to evacuate to the south, adding that a safe passage will be granted for 4 hours starting from 10 a.m. local time on Monday. But the United Nations estimates roughly 30,000 Palestinian evacuees have returned to their homes in northern Gaza after concluding the south was no longer safe. Meanwhile, New Delhi in India will restrict the use of vehicles for a week from November 13th to reduce air pollution in the city. Vehicles with odd number plates will only be allowed on the road on odd days, while those with even number plates will be allowed on alternate days. Air quality was categorized as severe for a third consecutive day on Monday, forcing primary schools to extend their closure until November 10th. However, a Cricket World Cup match between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh went ahead in the city, as organisers made use of air purifiers and used water sprinklers. Delhi's Environment Minister has also warned of worsening air quality following Diwali, during which firecrackers are often set off. The city often ranks among the world's top polluted cities every year ahead of the winter season, when calm winds and low temperatures trap pollutants. Hundreds of flights have been cancelled and schools closed in northeastern China due to blizzards from unseasonably cold weather. Several cities have issued heightened weather alerts while residents were warned to stay indoors.
At the Harbin Taiping International Airport in Heilongjiang Province, more than 400 flights had been cancelled due to blizzards. Its capital city, Harbin, suspended primary and secondary schools, along with kindergartens and off-campus training institutions. Travellers were also stranded at railway stations as heavy snow hit Zhangzhou City, with some trains cancelled. Northern China has seen a succession of weather conditions in the past week, from smog to the second warmest October in decades, and now a sharp drop in temperatures over the weekend. The country's Central Meteorological Administration has warned of a further drop in temperatures in the coming days, diving to single digits or below freezing.
Tokyo residents dashed for cover inside a train station as part of the first missile evacuation drill in the capital for years. The drill comes amid growing concerns over numerous North Korea's test launches of ballistic missiles since the past year. 60 participants followed steps similar to those that would be carried out in an actual emergency. The nuclear-armed North Korea has conducted regular launches from short-range and cruise missiles to intercontinental ballistic missiles with the potential range to reach the continental parts of the United States. Some of these launches, including a missile that flew over Japan's southern islands on August 24th, have triggered Japan's J-alert system, warning the public of potential danger. Japan has held more than a dozen such drills nationwide this year, though Monday's drill was the first in Tokyo since 2018. The Health Ministry revealed that nearly 30% of children in Malaysia suffer from stunted growth due to unhealthy diets, exacerbated by the high cost of living. Dr. Romi Hartarto from University Malaya breaks down how this situation compares to other countries.
This figure is relatively high, given that Malaysia is an upper middle income country. In comparison to lower middle income country, for example, in Africa, like Ghana, it was 17.5% in the same year. While countries in conflict like Iraq and Palestine, they were 12.6% and 7.4% respectively. So yeah, there has been an increasing trend in Malaysia regarding the stunting rate from 17% in 2015 and 20.7% in 2016.
Neighbouring Indonesia has reduced its stunting rate from 31.5% in 2018 to 21.6% in 2022. Dr. Romi suggested what Malaysia can learn from Indonesia's success.
I think stunting is a complex issue, like regardless of whether there's COVID pandemic or not, it has various determinants. It cannot be entirely eliminated in the short run, but intervention since the baby is in the womb is necessary. Reflecting on the conditional cash transfer program in Indonesia, which is program Keluarga Harapan, perhaps the Malaysian government can learn something from it in terms of the design and implementation, then modify their Bantuan Sara Hidup as a similar program, like disbursing the cash transfer to the poor households. But what makes cash transfer program in Indonesia different is that there are some conditions attached on it, like not only disperse the cash to the poor, but they also need to comply with the requirement set out by the government. So the policymaker in Malaysia can attach the conditions to the cash transfer and perform regular monitoring and evaluation, which is the important and integral part of it. As the main beneficiaries of the program, poor households should be encouraged to bring their kids to the health center on a regular basis and provide them vitamins, supplements, vaccines, and healthy foods. Or when they have a pregnant woman, she should go for antenatal care at least 4 times as a conditionality to keep them receiving the financial aid. But most importantly, in my opinion, education about health and nutrition is important, and this needs to be provided as early as possible.
That is all we have for you on AWANI tonight. I'm Farhana Sheikh. Thank you for watching.